Hi, welcome to our channel. My name's Michelle and I am married to Brian, and then we have a daughter that is 15 years old, and I am going to give you guys the lowdown on who we are and what we are doing. This will be a remake of our original video that I did back in September of 2019 to share who we are and why we're going out on the road and all of that stuff. I wanted to leave this as a posted video, or no, not posted, a pinned video at the top of our channel so that people can get to know us. All right, we have been married for 25 years. When we were married, almost 5 years, we decided to become truck drivers. We were traveling around the country. It was just my husband and I. We drove team, which means I drove at night, he drove during the day, and we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. The work is hard. You typically, when you're driving interstate, which means between states, the hours requirement is now, it's different from when it was before, but now you can work 11 hours, you can drive 11 hours in a 14-hour period. The regulations and requirements on a truck driver, they are things we have to know about. You have to know what you're doing when it comes to governmental requirements, right? There's a lot more involved with driving truck than just driving the truck. We did not own our truck. We always were company drivers, and that took a lot of the responsibilities off of us. We actually enjoyed that. We drove truck for 2 different companies that first 5.5 years, and we really learned a lot about ourselves, about what we were capable of. I mean, it was just an extensive amount of knowledge that we gained. We found that we truly loved traveling, but living in a truck is very hard. You don't get a shower every day. I remember there were times when we actually had to wash our hair with a bucket of water, gallons of water, like gallon jugs of water, and a bucket, and we would stand at the back end of the trailer while we were at a shipper and wash our hair. Like, that's not normal. But when you're running team, you end up running very, very fast and hard sometimes, in the sense that you're running a lot of miles and you just don't have time to take showers. We lived that life and loved it. I mean, it sounds weird, but we loved it. We made such good money. We paid off a lot of debt back then, and we were just enjoying so much of the freedom of travel. You get to choose. I'll take that back. A company tells you which routes they want you to go, and they tell you where to fuel. We were okay with that because, I mean, they're paying for everything, right? You're paid by the mile. We did travel down some really interesting roads, got to see a lot of interesting stuff, and kind of got that bug for travel. That's why we enjoyed doing it. I mean, it was pretty cool. You went to school, paid $4,200 back then for a 3-week school, and you were immediately hired, and it was a blast. Well, on our 8th year anniversary, we said, we want to have children. Well, we physically weren't able to have children, and we chose to adopt. And that's a whole story in and of itself. That's probably something, I don't know if I'll share that on video, but because it's well known in our family, but I don't know yet if it's something that I feel needs to be public. I don't know. We'll see. From the moment we decided to adopt till when our daughter was born, it was about 18 months. The best part about that was obviously becoming parents. After she was born, I stopped truck driving. I became a stay-at-home mom. My husband was still a driver. And we began to live a separated life because my husband was driving all the time, working to support his family, and I was at home with my daughter. Well, that was really hard on us, and I missed, number one, I didn't have any kind of postpartum depression or anything emotionally connected to becoming a new parent was very excited about it, but I had an emotional detachment from driving that was very difficult for me. I was very jealous of my husband. I wanted to go back driving really bad, but I couldn't, obviously, because now I'm a mom, and that's what I wanted more than anything in the world. So I gave up this desire and love for traveling the country to be a mom, and I would never change that. Never ever change that. But the longing to travel was there. My husband then did change companies when my daughter was 5.5, and we found a company that would allow us to drive full time with a child on the truck. That wasn't normal. Typically, it's for a period of time, and it's over a certain age. So she was going to not even be 6 years old, and we wanted to go drive as a team. I had kept my CDL license because once you get that, you don't give it up. There's no reason to give it up. I started doing the research, actually found this job on Craigslist, which now looking back, it's kind of interesting. Found it on Craigslist. He applied, he got hired, and then 6 months later, I got hired, and my husband and I drove team for that company for another 4.5 years. We were together driving team. That entire time, our daughter was on the truck, and she has done over 1 million miles in the semi, and it was the perfect time to be together as a family. For 4.5 years, we were together 24/7. And it was a fabulous time during my daughter's development and beginning of her education. I found the company prior to my daughter going into kindergarten. So we chose not to put her in kindergarten because we were going to be leaving. And in the state of Texas, if you do not put your child in a public school, you do not have to pull them out. And kindergarten is not a requirement. So back then, at that time, she's a teenager now. Back then, we chose to not put her in kindergarten, and then we would homeschool her. We left in March of 2010, and she started first grade, actually, in September of 2010. And because she was basically in the passenger seat while I was driving, she couldn't go anywhere, right? She was confined to the seat. And so she actually did first and second grade in 12 months because we would stop at rest areas. My husband has always been fabulous about doing the science parts of school, and they would go out and look at trees and bugs and all kinds of really cool stuff. My husband would teach her how to hook up a trailer to the semi. We would get out and fuel the truck. She would clean it was so cool. We have a lot of full intact butterflies that Olivia would find on the front grill of the semi when we would pull over to fuel the truck. So during the spring, driving through the country, we would hit butterflies with the front of the truck. And so I think we have 10 different fully intact, beautiful butterflies that sadly died on the front of our truck. That was something we did. We collected things all over the country from different various parts of the country. And we now actually at our house have a museum, and we call it the Hanks Museum. But, and that's one of those things I don't know what we're going to do with when we go traveling. We've got to somehow store all of that stuff. If you have any suggestions on how to store these relics that we gathered from around the country in some way that will preserve them, because I want her to have them. Okay. We drove for 4.5 years with our daughter on the truck. We left that job, and I went back to being a stay-at-home mom, and I started my photography business. My husband went to haul sand for oil wells. That has kept him away from the house. He's working in Texas, but it's probably anywhere between 3 and 7 hours away. And so he's gone long periods of time, and they're all varied, right? There's no consistency to his schedule. Also, while he's working, there's no consistency to what time of the day he's awake. So it might be he's awake now, and then in 3 days, he might be awake at I don't know, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. It changes so much. The downfall to that has been, well, I'll say the positive has been he's made really good money, but the downfall is we're no longer together all the time. And we have a very strong marriage. We've been married for 25 years, but it hurts the family. And so many other families are dealing with this. I recognize that. But for us, I just started yearning for this, go back to that way where we were all together. And I started trying to figure out, what can we do? What can we do? And there was this very unsettledness in me for quite a long time. And I couldn't find a solution. And it was very troubling to me for quite a long time. And our family prays and believes that God will give us wisdom, and that God, we totally believe that God answers prayers. And I had just been praying, God, just give me some kind of direction, some kind of answer, something to bring us back together as a family. Because as our daughter kept aging, now she's 15. So we haven't been together as a family unit on a consistent basis for 5 years. And it's not that our family's falling apart, but I recognize that it's not the best thing. I would prefer for us to be a family unit more consistently. Okay? When I started looking into this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the answer. This is the answer. But it seemed like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make an income? This is a big deal. You got to make an income. We're only in our early 50s. We have no retirement money to live on yet. We can't touch our Social Security. We can't touch our 401ks. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Now, I have done a video about should you cash in your 401k. Right now, we have found out that my husband cannot cash it in unless he quits the company. In the video, though, that I did, I talked about, well, sure, go ahead and cash in your 401k. I give you permission. And part of that is because we need to do whatever we need to do. You need to do what you need to do. And I think that as a whole, society tells us don't dare touch that stuff. And I kind of disagree with that because not everybody will agree with me, but I feel that maybe we should actually live our lives now versus wait for another 10 to 15 years to live it then. So, back to our story. I apologize, this has gone on a long time, but I really want to put this out there where we're coming from. We are coming from a traveling family, a family that has already spent 24 hours a day with each other, a family that loves adventure. I see all these YouTube channels and all these places that people are getting to go to, and I'm, oh my gosh, I want to go there. Oh my gosh, I want to do that, because that looks so exciting. I think the hardest part for us is going to be mosquitoes. I don't like mosquitoes. I don't know how I'm going to handle that, but gonna be bugs, because guess what? I'm not a camper. I'm going into this and I'm not a camper, but I'm willing to get there. We've already lived the nomadic lifestyle, but it was while we were working as truck drivers, and we've already lived 24 hours a day with our child and our dogs and trying to figure out where we're going to eat and where we're going to take showers and when we're going to do our laundry and all of those kinds of things. Many things that I hear other YouTubers talking about that are challenges. I will say one of the funniest challenges I hear other YouTubers talk about is that they don't like to park in truck stops or rest areas. I've seen videos questioning, well, are we allowed to park in rest areas? Are we allowed to park in truck stops? Well, yes, you're allowed. The funniest part to me is I said to my husband, I think I'm going to end up more afraid of actually being in the woods boondocking and it be all quiet. Like I'm thinking that's going to be more scary to me than in a truck stop or a rest area. But, all right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is going to be our new pinned video. It will explain a little bit about our background and why we're moving into this lifestyle. It's going to take us a few more years, 19 months at this point that I'm recording this video, but we are gung-ho and ready for it. All right. I hope you guys have a great day. Oh, yeah. Subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that. And a lot of people that watch my videos haven't subscribed yet. So, do the thing. All right. You guys have a great day. Bye.